Let's waste no time and get things rolling with the big one. It's a top 5 showdown in the horseshoe, and this one is for all the marbles. Playoff spot, Big Ten championship berth, and the most important thing of all, that of course is bragging rights. The Wolverines have been the rightful owner to all the smack talk for the last calendar year, and you better believe Ohio State wants to put an end to that. So let's welcome in Sam Webb from the Michigan Insider and Dave Biddle from Bucknuts.com. Guys, Michigan got the big win in week 12, but at what cost? Blake Corum's status now up in the air after an injury. Sam, let's start with you. How reliant is this offense on him?
Heavily reliant. When you think about Michigan's approach to the game, they are a physical, pounded, run first attack, run second attack, hell, run third attack. And the guy most often carrying the rock is Blake Corum. He has had a fantastic season. He has shown he can run between the tackles. He's always shown he can run for distance. He can catch the football. He can block. I mean, you look at what he did in the Nebraska game, decleating a defensive end on a sweep by J.J. McCarthy. He blocked a nose tackle on another big play. He's just doing it all. And so you get into a comfort zone as a play caller, especially a first-time play caller, and Michigan has two of them, and their primary mode of operation, their background, their expertise is the run game. You tend to lean on that strength even more when you have a guy like Blake Corum. So you remove him from the equation, like you saw against Illinois, and you have a capable quarterback and capable receivers. But when that's not your emphasis, it's just hard to dial it up and make that be your number one thing. What Michigan will have, depending on his availability, because Jim Harbaugh said structurally everything was fine. They have to see how he is on game day. You're monitoring him during the week. But if he's not ready to go, or if he's not 100%, you got to be ready to do something else, and that'll be a departure for Michigan.
Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Dave, what changes with how Ohio State prepares to defend this Michigan offense with all the uncertainty surrounding arguably their most important player on offense?
Yeah, Emily, I think they're going to prepare to have a healthy Blake Corum out there. Now, is he going to be 100% healthy? I don't think that's going to happen based on, even after he came out for halftime, the way he was trying to cut. As Sam knows, he wasn't really able to do that well on the sideline, was able to get one carry there in the second half. But Ohio State's going to prepare like Blake Corum's going to be healthy for this game. Arguably the best running back in the country. He reminds me of like even a little bit better version of Mike Hart, his running backs coach. And I don't say that lightly. Mike Hart is a Michigan legend. Blake Corum's even more explosive, built low to the ground, strong like Mike Hart was. And I've been very impressed with him. And but Ohio State's going to prepare to slow down Blake Corum. They're going to prepare like he's going to be healthy. Michigan has struggled to throw the ball down the field this year, so Ohio State knows if they can slow down this impressive Michigan running game, they'll have a good chance of winning the game.
Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the spectrum, it's the number 2 scoring defense for Michigan versus the number 2 scoring offense for Ohio State. So what gives? Dave, let's start with you. How can the Buckeye offense attack the stingy Michigan D?
When we talk about Blake Corum being banged up, I mean, the Buckeyes are banged up at running back as well. I mean, Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams, the top 2 running backs, have been banged up off and on all season. The guy that was supposed to be their number 3 tailback, Evan Pryor, was lost during the preseason. Fortunately for Ohio State, they've had a true freshman named Dallin Hayden really step up. Had a great game this past week against Maryland, really saved them. And much like Blake Corum, my guess is Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams will both play, will be less than 100%. And maybe far less than 100%. But so Ohio State's going to have to beat Michigan through the air mostly. Now, they're going to have to be balanced to an extent, but C.J. Stroud and Marvin Harrison Jr. are going to have to try and take advantage of what's a solid Michigan secondary. But I think Ohio State has the advantage there. Michigan's much better defensively than I thought they'd be this year. For them being number 2 in the country after all they lost, basically losing 3 first-round picks. Ojabo was a second-round pick, but would have been a first-round pick if he didn't tear his Achilles. You lose Aiden Hutchinson, you lose Dax Hill. I thought they'd take a step back. They're fantastic. Mike Morris missed this last game with an ankle injury. I have no doubt he'll play. This is a very good Michigan defense, very good Ohio State offense. Ohio State's going to have to run the ball effectively here and there, but it'll come down to how well C.J. Stroud's able to throw the ball in this game.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You look back at last year's game, and two things that are keys to Ohio State when you're playing defense against them. Number one, you got to have a short memory, because everyone remembers Michigan running Ohio State over. You lose sight of the fact their receivers, their wideouts made some big plays in that contest. So you got to have a short memory. You got to know they're going to hit theirs. They're too good. They have the best receiving core in the country. And you got to hit C.J. Stroud. You got to hit him in the mouth. And that was a key element for Michigan. You got to limit the damage. Make him think. Make him clutch. Make him second guess what he's seeing out there. Make him see ghosts. Move him off his spot, right? And no, he's going to hit some plays. But if you can make him hit, a quarter less plays, a quarter fewer plays, that is a huge deal, especially when you can also, on the other side, control the ball and keep that offense at Ohio State offense off the field a little bit more. Those were the ingredients last year. Control the ball and the clock, hit the quarterback, and have a short memory knowing that their receivers are going to make some plays.
All right, guys, finally, we know this is a big game. We know the alphabet only has 25 letters for Ohio State fans this week, but what makes this edition of the rivalry so special? Sam, kick us off.
Yeah, I think what's at stake? I mean, two undefeated teams, and you think back to in this century, the two biggest matchups, at least from Michigan's perspective, before last year was 06, where number 1 versus number 2, and 16. Everything that was all the build up to that game, it was amazing. It just feels like this is how college football is supposed to be. A really good Michigan, a really good Ohio State, and both those teams playing for all the marbles. It feels like you got to win to be in, especially with SC winning last weekend. That being the case, this is win or die, win or go home. And that makes the game even more special. The fact that these two teams don't like each other but respect each other, I think that makes it really, really good too. Just what's at stake in this contest.
Yeah, I agree with Sam 100%. Like, it does feel like this is a quarterfinal game and an elimination game for the college football playoff. That's not 100%. The loser of this game could still sneak in as the 4 seed. But my guess is this is a quarterfinal game and an elimination game, and I'm here for it. We feel like, I'm sure Sam would agree, maybe we're a little biased, this is the best rivalry in sports, and it's back. I mean, for a while there, you almost maybe couldn't call it a rivalry. Just like in the 90s, you couldn't call it one because Michigan owned Ohio State. Then tables flipped, Ohio State owned Michigan for a while. And Michigan with that big win last year. I mean, that rivalry is back in a big way. And what adds to it, my friends, is the game has not been played at the Horseshoe in 4 years. That's never happened because of the COVID year. Michigan didn't come here in 2020. So you have the revenge factor, the fact that the game has not been here in Ohio, in Columbus in 4 years, and everything that goes with this rivalry. A Horseshoe is going to be off the chain. I absolutely love that everything that this game comes down to, and I cannot wait for the game tomorrow.
All right. I get it. This is a big game, guys. I am so excited. You have got me ready to go. You've got everybody watching ready to go. And be sure to keep it locked in to the Michigan Insider and Bucknuts for all the best coverage of this game, this massive game, and these two teams all season long.